Growing up in Clive, Iowa, I never once heard the word gay until I was about 12 years old. It wasn't until a new family moved in across the street from me. As a naive preteen, it never once crossed my mind that the new family, 2 women and 2 young children, were a couple living together with their kids. Once I learned about the LGBTQ community and met individuals that identify as LGBTQ, my worldview changed and I began to see the inequalities that these individuals face on a daily basis. While in high school, I met my best friend, who openly identifies as gay. In high school, he came out to gay as his parents and began to live as his authentic self, yet being gay wasn't always easy, as he struggled to find his community at Valley High School and throughout West Des Moines.
Growing up as a gay-identifying male in West Des Moines was really kind of a process. I was also raised Catholic too, so I was around that sort of environment a lot. Every weekend I would go to church and I was involved with the church group and everything, so I was really around that very heteronormative white majority space, and it was really difficult to kind of find people who were similar to me.
After high school graduation, he moved to Iowa City to begin his undergraduate career at the University of Iowa. Now a junior, he has described his experience at the University of Iowa and coming out as a teenager as challenging.
I would be bullied a lot for having a really high voice or for having more friends who were girls, or getting teased that like the girls I was friends with are my girlfriends by, family members, friends, everyone. I was called the notorious F word. And even though I never said I was gay, people just would assume, and because of my high voice and some of the more feminine features that I had versus the hyper-masculine kind of identity that a lot of the males took up.
While his family, friends, and new school accept his identity, many LGBTQ individuals struggle to fit in and find an accepting place. We oftentimes overlook negative narratives of LGBTQ individuals and focus instead on narratives of love and acceptance. While it is nonetheless important to hear these uplifting stories, it is imperative that we hear narratives about those that have not been as fortunate. What about those who are disowned by their family? Those who are tormented and teased by their classmates for being different? Or those who struggle to accept their own identity?
I think if there was more coming out stories and ones about people not being accepted at first, but then later on realizing everything turns out okay, or knowing that it is an ongoing battle of coming out every day to different people or family members, friends, whoever, just knowing that all of that happens and just kind of having that education would have been really important, especially considering when I was, in high school, middle school, elementary, junior high, all of that, I never once heard a coming out story, and if I did, the only stories that I knew of were ones of people not being accepted, so I just figured, that's how my story would be. There really needs to be an increase in the conversations that are happening around LGBTQ topics. So not just about sexuality, but about gender identity, being transgender, just really creating a safe space for both people to feel comfortable. Because I still think right now it's not a comfortable space, or truly changing the environment for LGBTQ individuals to not just be tolerant and just accepting, rather embraced.
My friend's story speaks to these issues within the LGBTQ community because he struggled to accept himself for being gay and tried to conform to societal heteronormativity. Society often tells us we need to be cookie-cutter, mainstream individuals, and if we deviate at all or do not fit into the mainstream description of normal, we are considered outliers by our peers. Because not everyone comes from a loving and accepting home, we as a community and as a society need to treat everyone with acceptance and respect and offer our love and support to those who need it most.
I just think that people need to learn to love and accept everyone regardless of their sexuality and their gender identity. And once that happens, the LGBTQ individuals will have a much easier time finding a community and feeling free to be themselves in a world that accepts them for who they are.